Okay, this is about to be the most ironic YouTube video you've ever watched. Because let me guess, you're on YouTube, maybe other than travel content, to learn something. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Amanda Kolbye, and I am a seven-figure entrepreneur and business strategist that helps service-based entrepreneurs grow their business online using social media. I also happen to travel the world full-time, so on the channel you're going to see a bunch of different content about tutorials, tech, systems, marketing, business, all the things, as well as digital nomad lifestyle content. If you are interested, if this is all of your loves in this life, definitely stay tuned on the channel and like and subscribe for more content. And let's dive into today's video. Like I said in the intro, it's definitely a little bit ironic because today I want to talk to you a little bit about learning new skills, right? So as a service-based business owner, quite literally what you're selling is your skills. Whether you're a designer, a photographer, a coach, something like that, right? You have to have a skill. That is your product. Now, when we look online to try and learn new skills, let me guess, one of the number one places you go is YouTube. And while I love YouTube, and I definitely give away some really good information on YouTube and try and teach some little tech and tutorials, here's a little bit of a shocker. You can't build a successful business based on what you learn on YouTube, okay? It's got really good content. I give it all away for free on here, but it is just not enough, especially when it comes to actually learning a skill that you need to deliver a transformation to a client. But now begs the question, where in the world or where in the online universe are you supposed to learn these skills? And to be honest, the options that exist, which there are actually pretty few out there other than YouTube, the options that exist aren't that great because there's so much content on there and it becomes so overwhelming, and it's still barely comprehensive enough for you to become really good at what you do, to become the best designer, the best copywriter, the best podcast manager. Again, we kind of get to the part where you're here to learn, but I'm going to tell you that this isn't the best place to learn the skills you need to run a successful, highly profiting business. So on today's video, I'm going to talk to you about where, of course, I'm going to give you the answer straight away. Where is the best place for you to learn these skills as a service-based entrepreneur? How do you kind of pick and choose what skill is going to be best for you, even if you're not a new entrepreneur and you're just kind of already existing and kind of trying to figure out how to up-level your skills to be able to charge more and really stand out more in the market? We're going to talk a little bit about that. And then lastly, I'm going to give you a couple tips on how to actually take that skill and what you're going to need to know to deliver it to a client. Because just watching tech tutorials alone, again, isn't going to help you when the client says yes and all of a sudden you're like, all right, so what do we do here? We want to avoid that. And lastly, I'm going to give you a bonus tip because y'all know I always like throwing in a little extra something juicy about how you can charge $10,000 for one client. This is real. Okay, so let's dive in. And again, don't forget, like and subscribe because we've got a lot of other awesome content like this on the channel here. Keep getting notifications and support us. Okay, so here's kind of the scene I want to set for you. When you're growing an online business, you are focusing a lot on marketing and sales and all of those other pieces, which are absolutely required to have a successful and highly profitable online business. But the other key here to really becoming, it's like standing out in your industry, becoming the go-to person and being able to charge higher tickets so that you don't have to have like a million different clients charging, you know, at $100 each or something like that. You also have to be really good at what you do. Now, I know this almost seems kind of like a duh, but at the same time, many people come into the online space as service providers not really having a ton of skills to deliver. Now, here's the thing, that's actually okay. That's totally okay. Most clients that I work with come into the space that way. But the problem is while we can get by for a little bit, and there are some easy skills to learn to get started, again, if we want to become the best, we want to become go-to, we want to charge high ticket, then working on just sales and marketing alone and kind of some get-by skills is not going to get you to where you want to be. The gap here that no one is talking about is that you have to refine the actual skills as well as all this awesome business knowledge, because when you are really freaking good at what you do, people can't ignore you. People can't help but be like, oh my gosh, you got to hire this girl. Right? That is how you're also going to be able to charge higher ticket, demand higher quality clients, and be able to scale your business. Now, the problem we're rising at is, like I said, YouTube's awesome. I freaking love YouTube, and it's got a lot of good resources, tutorials here and there, but it's not comprehensive enough and not something you should rely on to completely learn how do I be a copywriter? How do I be a designer? Beyond little tech questions here or there, just some base information, right? It's just not enough. The other thing to recognize is whether it's on YouTube or some other, skills platforms that have, a bunch of various videos, is that watching tutorials is not enough either to actually learn as a service provider how to serve a client. Here's why. Let me take you through a scenario, okay? Let's say you're a tech VA focused on tech skills and you're helping a lot of clients on their back end. You may come to YouTube or another skills platform and you may say, amazing, my client wants me to help with some automations. Let me watch a tutorial on Zapier. Cool. You may be able to even copy and paste whatever, thing that you learned on Zapier, or let's say ClickUp, right? If you want to set something up for your client in ClickUp, you can copy and paste or learn a couple of different functionalities of it based on a tutorial. In fact, I have one, I'll link it below. But here's the thing, when you get to serving a client and they say yes, what do you do? How do you deliver that service to them? Do you work with them in a certain ongoing way? How do you acquire information from them to figure out how do I apply that little piece of tech tutorial knowledge about ClickUp to this client, right? Or how do I learn the knowledge to apply the little tech tutorial I learned about ClickUp to saying, hey, this client needs a CRM system built in ClickUp or a content management system built in ClickUp. How do I figure out specificities to what that client needs based on this one random tech tutorial that showed me just how to set up an automation or a list view in ClickUp, right? They don't match. So that's this gap of information that I want to fill for you. And let's just answer the question and cut to the chase at this point. Where do you learn the skills? So where you're going to learn these skills is Skills Mastery Academy. This is a program, shameless plug here, by the way, not trying to hide this, shameless plug that I have created and that has taken months and months and months, brought in a bunch of industry experts, and it is very meticulously crafted for done for you service providers, not for coaches, in order to learn and up level their skills so that they can become, which is our motto, damn good at what you do, become the best, charge higher ticket. But here's the thing, we're not just going to give you tech tutorials on how to be an admin VA or a social media manager. That's not enough, but it is good. But what we're going to teach you inside of Skills Mastery Academy is how to take those skills and what you need to know to apply it to a client. If you want to do tech setups and system setups for a client, you don't only need to understand the tool itself, but the client's needs and how to figure that out, and then again, how to deliver it and go through this entire process of delivery. And that is what is included in Skills Mastery Academy. So if you are someone who is wanting to either A, learn new skills because maybe you don't have any, but you want to start a business, or B, maybe you're someone who has kind of started a business but wants to niche down or pivot or kind of elevate your skills, or maybe your team, you want them to learn new skills. Any of those people, Skills Mastery Academy is literally built for you. So we're going to put a link down below and all of the information, and I am so excited to see some of you inside of the membership. It is a no-brainer. But truly, this is the best thing that I have seen online. There's nothing else like it on the market that teaches you this combination. So now you know that. Let's talk about what you need to choose to determine what is right for you, what skill is going to be right for you if you're either in the beginning or if you want to niche down, pivot, expand. I'm going to make this actually really, really simple for you because I don't think that you should completely overcomplicate it, especially if you're trying to figure out what skill set to pursue as a new entrepreneur. Almost no one sticks with the same skill set. You just kind of got to learn something and get in and start building your brand and get your feet off the ground. And if you are in those beginning stages, definitely check out this video here that'll talk more about the business side of those first steps that you really need to start your online business. So regardless of where you're at in business, I want you to think about what are your interests, what are your strengths, even be okay with what do I just want to learn, right? Like that would fall under interest because we can learn anything. You don't have to just base it on what you've known in the past. What type of lifestyle do you want? So for example, micro examples of this are if you don't like being on calls all day long, don't become a coach because I spend a lot of time talking and on calls all day long. But this is something to think about when you're starting to structure your offers and the skill sets within them. The last thing to think about other than interests and strengths and how can we apply those is also validating the skill set. So based on where you're at in your business, if we're trying to scale or just get started or whatever it is, I want you to take whatever skill set you think you're interested in learning or pursuing and make sure and go validate it in the market. Make sure and validate that it is highly needed. Validate what type of pricing is typically paid for this offer, what type of structures are people typically delivering this in, and does all of that match up with your goals? If so, move full speed ahead in pursuing that. Do not get stuck in this decision-making phase. Now, before I move to this last step here and make some connection points for you about how do we turn this skill and actually look at it in a client process and delivery, because that's really that other part here of charging high ticket and elevating your brand. If you are someone that has already started your business and you're more looking at this from the view of niching down or pivoting or just expanding your skill sets, make sure to watch this video here all about niching down and everything you need to know about that. Okay, so let's talk about process. So once you've decided on your skill set, let's say that you really want to become a designer. You're like, amazing, I'm clear, I'm going to go join SMA, I'm going to learn how to be a designer. I've chosen that skill, obviously. So now we're left on that final part of actually really delivering high quality to a client. Now there's two main processes that I want you to think about. The first one is that onboarding process. And a lot of that's going to be very logistical, but we can definitely add some client experience aspects into it as well. And by onboarding, I mean, contract, payment links, maybe like a kickoff call, just a little things like that to basically go from a client being like, I think I want to work with you, yes, to actually starting the skill set that you're delivering for them. Now, the second part is the more part that I want to focus on because it's going to be unique to your skill set, and that's the actual delivery process. So for example, once the client's been onboarded and started with you as a designer, let's say you're designing a logo, then how do you get from the client being like, hello, I'm here, to handing over all those final files that they're absolutely obsessed with? That's the process that we need to map out, because it's not as simple as watching an Adobe tutorial and going into Illustrator and mocking up one logo view. There's so much human aspect and process to make things tight and neat and flow really well, as well as the human experience of creating a really awesome client experience that makes people not only say she's good at what she do, but man, I loved working with her. It was so easy and so awesome. So a couple examples to think about, because you're going to want to map this out yourself. Again, this is something that we can help you with inside of SMA or Skills Mastery Academy. But you're going to want to map out and start asking yourself questions, and getting some beta clients and actually walking through this in a very intentional way will help you figure out your unique method as well. But start asking yourself questions saying, okay, cool, I'm about to start designing this logo for a client. What do I need to do in order to get information from the client about what they want? How do I want to then take that information and draft up part of the vision or the mood board or the color palette? At what points do I want to get their approval? How many rounds of feedback am I going to ask for them? And how am I going to deliver that? And how are they supposed to get feedback back, right? All of these different steps are part of the process. What is the timeline? How long am I going to allow that for? Because once you have more than a couple of clients, the timeline and the workload and the process, all of that is going to be crucial to not only be good at what you do and delivering to the client, but helping you be able to scale. Okay, so I hope you're excited to pick and choose and really elevate stuff so that you can become the go-to person in your industry or your niche. But before we go, I've got my little juiciest tip for you that I know you're really excited to hear, and that's how can you charge $10,000 for a client? How can you charge 5 figures for one client, right? If you're in the beginning stages, you're probably like, no way. If you're maybe further along in business, maybe you've had some clients close to this, but in order to charge 5 figures for one client, this will definitely vary based on the processes and the types of services that you deliver. But even if it's not exactly 5 figures, how do we charge high ticket? And there's 4 things I want you to know here. The first one is you need to have a fine-tuned process. This is going to be really important into making things smooth and making it feel like a luxury experience, that like this person has got me and they know their stuff, okay? The second thing is you need to deliver top-notch quality. For someone to pay high ticket, they're expecting the top-notch quality services. So a top-notch website, a top-notch logo, not something that kind of was slapped together or maybe isn't as polished or maybe isn't flushed out as much, right? And that's where we're really going to become really good at what we do with our skills. The third thing is social proof. So when people are hiring done-for-you service providers, they want to see social proof and testimonials. And again, that's where refining your process and getting those first couple of clients and getting going, this all doesn't happen overnight, but those are going to be really, really important to you being able to charge high ticket. And the fourth thing is being professional. Now, we all know you don't have to wear like a suit and tie in this space, but you do need to show up like this is a legitimate business, like you are really serious and good at what you do, and you can infuse your personality in so many different ways. You can have purple hair. All of that is not what defines being professional, but you need to have your stuff together so that it matches the price point that you're charging for people. And if you're really curious about the behind the scenes of this, I recorded a podcast episode here that we'll link down below where I interviewed over 20 to 30 high-level entrepreneurs and asked them what were the reasons why they chose to hire this person over this person. And you're going to find this so interesting, and it talks about this exact same stuff that I'm talking about as far as what you're going to need to be able to charge high ticket and why people are going to choose you over someone else. So I hope you guys love today's episode. Definitely comment below. Let me know your takeaways. Let me know what skill set you are pursuing next in your business. I am so excited to hopefully see some of you inside of Skills Mastery Academy as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe to help us keep creating all this amazing content for you, all about entrepreneurship, business, marketing, all of the things. Check out some of our playlists and some of the other videos here, and I will see you in the next video.